Hey guys, welcome to the second video in this new Python file handling series. Now in this video, we're going to go discuss about how to write to files in Python. So if you're ready, let's get started. So in the last video, we have already discussed on how to read data from a file. And that is cool and all, but sometimes when you're creating a program, you probably might want to write data to a file instead of just reading data from a file. So now to do that, it's pretty similar to how we did it in the last lesson, which was reading data from a file. But instead of passing R, we would pass in W. So we're going to use our with keyword again, and we're going to type in open, right? And then we're going to go pass in the name of the file or the path of the file, and we have the file right here, names.txt. We're just going to simply pass in names.txt. Now, like I said, instead of doing R, we are going to pass in the parameter W. And this will just ensure that we are only going to be writing to a file. Because if you don't pass anything, which it's possible to pass nothing in, then we can either read, write, append, we can do whatever. But we explicitly want to just write to a file, so we're going to pass in the parameter W. And now we're just going to create a name for our file or a variable name for our file. And we're just going to pass in F again like last time. So that's it. So now we have our entire context manager here. And let's just start writing to a file. So we're going to do F. And instead of doing read, we're going to do write. Now if we pass in write, it's going to want a string, which we have right here. So if we save that, what this line should do is this f.write function should overwrite the entire names.txt file, and everything in this file will be deleted, and all we are going to have is this is new content. So let me copy this real quick, and if I run this, we get no error, so that means everything went successful. And if we go into names.txt, we get this is new content. So that worked all right. Now let's say that we want to go create new lines. So instead of just having one line like this, what happens if we want to have multiple lines? Well, to do that, all we have to do, and let's just get our stuff back again, is put a backslash and then the letter N. And essentially what we are telling Python is just create a new line right here. So if we do that to everything right here, boom, and then like that. And now if we run this, what we should get is all our names back again, and this new content should be gone. So if we run this, everything went successful, which means that we don't have any errors. And would you look at that, everything is back in the file. So that is exactly how you create new lines in Python. All you have to do is just use the backslash and then the N in lowercase. So that's one way to write to a file. Another way to write to a file is to use f.writelines. And what this essentially does is instead of taking a string, we're taking an iterable of a string. So technically it could be a tuple, it could be a list, it could be a set, but in this case we are going to just use a list. So we're going to create our list real quick. So here we have our list, and it has 3 elements in this list: my first line, my second line, my third line, and they are all strings because it takes a list of strings. And if all we do is pass list in here, we are just going to get my first line, my second line, my third line. So let me show you real quick. And we get my first line, my second line, and my third line, but they're all squished together. And that's because we did not pass in the backslash N. So the write lines is practically and essentially the same as the write method. There's nothing special to it besides one takes a list and one just takes a string. So now if we run this, we should get them on separate lines, and that works. So those are the 2 different ways to write in Python. Preferably, I like the write function because it's just much cleaner and it looks nicer to me personally. I do not have to create a list and then pass the list into the write lines. Instead, I just make everything be one string, and then I can separate it by just using this instead of having to do all of this. But whichever works for you, you choose. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was very beneficial, and I'll see you in my next video.